parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose.
Mr. 2A, we can't do actual debate rounds this year. We can't.
Tu te fous de moi? Huh?
Well, we can't
This
because,
is ridiculous.
yes, but
Ah.
the school's shut down. So yeah, we can't do actual debate rounds in class this year. Sadly, this is indeed true. Because the school has been shut down, we will not be able to have actual debate rounds in class this year. But, never fear, you will still get to present a debate case, do some research, and present it to the class. In this video, we'll talk about how. Firstly, we have our resolution. The resolution for this debate project is the following. Resolved. During times of national crisis or emergency, the federal government of the United States should be allowed to take control of policy normally left to state and local governments. This resolution focuses on the rules that divide power in the country between the federal government and state governments, like the state of Pennsylvania. According to Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution, there are certain enumerated powers that belong to the federal government. According to the 10th Amendment to the Constitution, any powers not given to the federal government belong to states or to the people. This means that, in a crisis like COVID-19, decisions about quarantine and social distance rules are all decided by state governments, and while the federal government can make recommendations, it cannot legally impose rules for citizens of any of the states. This is why different states have adopted different rules, usually by the orders given by the governor of each state. For instance, while Pennsylvania has issued a stay-at-home order, the governor of South Dakota has not, and therefore South Dakota does not have the same rules that obtain in Ohio or Pennsylvania and many other states. So, affirmative teams could make arguments about the need for a coordinated national response when there's a crisis or an emergency. They could argue that there needs to be centralized federal leadership to increase the speed of any response effort. Finally, they could argue that a federal response might be needed to avoid the danger that could spread when one or two or a few states hold on to bad policies that put other states at risk. For instance, some have criticized the plans that are being made in the state of Georgia for opening up their economy soon. And people might argue that if Georgia stops doing some of the things that have prevented the spread, this could put other neighboring states in danger and ultimately the whole country in a little bit more danger. Now, the negative team has to find reasons why this change would be a bad thing, and maybe even why the status quo, or the way things are now, is the best. So the negative team would want to argue that the current division of power between the federal government and the state governments is the best and most wise way to govern. The negative team may well point out that emergency or crisis could be a little bit tricky to define, and even raise the issue, well, what if federal leaders began to declare emergencies just as a way to gain power? That could be a problem. What if local leaders are actually better at solving local problems than federal leaders. Negative team will ask, do you really want a federal one-size-fits-all policy to be applied to you in your state? Ultimately, your task is to write your own 1AC and then record yourself delivering it in the form of a speech. So first, you're going to want to read up on the topic, gather the information available, and try to get a clear picture for what is happening at the federal and state level right now in response to emergencies. Next, consider the different perspectives. What are some of the differences between the approach that some people have taken who have chosen different ways of responding to a crisis? After consideration, write your own 1AC using the sheet in the assignment. When you're all done, go and take a nap. And then, finally, make and submit your video. You may need to enlist the aid of a family member to hold a camera or phone for you. You're just going to have to work with what you've got sometimes. Yeah, do your best. You must wear correct attire for speeches. What do you think correct attire is? Come on. All right, now we're talking. Very sharp. No more of this clowning around. Except, you are allowed to wear a funny hat, as long as it does not block any part of your face. That's right. Keep it classy. Looking good.
If we cannot have debate in person, we will use the videos. They will be magnifique. C'est la vie. Au revoir.